scientist, conservationist, educator. For over 4 decades, Dr. Birute Galdikas has studied and worked closely with the orangutans of Indonesia and Borneo in their natural habitat, and is today the world's foremost authority on the orangutan.
Galdikas was born after the end of World War II, while her parents were en route to Canada from her homeland of Lithuania. Galdikas grew up and went to school in Toronto. After checking out her first library book, Curious George, at the age of 6, Galdikas was inspired by the man in the yellow hat and his monkey. By the second grade, she had decided on her life's work. She wanted to be an explorer. When her family moved from Canada to the United States in 1964, Galdikas had completed her studies of natural sciences, quickly earned her bachelor's degree in psychology and zoology, and her master's degree in anthropology.
It was there as a graduate student that she first met Kenyan anthropologist Dr. Louis Leakey and spoke with him about her desire to study orangutans. After 3 years, Dr. Leakey finally found the funding for Galdikas's orangutan studies. In 1971, Galdikas and her then husband arrived in one of the world's last wild places, Tanjung Puting Reserve in Indonesian Borneo. There were no telephones, roads, electricity, television, or regular mail service at the time.
Before long, however, her hard work and determination had paid off. She set up Camp Leakey, named after her mentor, and began documenting the ecology and behavior of the wild orangutans. Later, she wrote the cover article for National Geographic magazine, bringing orangutans widespread international public attention for the first time. Her dedication not only to understand the nature of the orangutan, but also to preserve the creature's rapidly diminishing natural habitat extends to the people, culture, and environment as well. After 40 years in Tanjung Puting, now a national park, Galdikas has conducted the longest continuous study by one principal investigator of any wild mammal in the world.
She recorded over 400 types of food consumed by orangutans, providing unprecedented detail about orangutan ecology. To support her work and to help support orangutans around the world, Dr. Galdikas and her colleagues set up Orangutan Foundation International in 1986, with its home base in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Galdikas and her husband were also instrumental in establishing sister organizations in Australia, Indonesia, and the United Kingdom. Author of scientific articles and reviews, Galdikas has published 4 books, including her autobiography. Galdikas has been featured in New York Times, Washington Post, Los Angeles Times, and numerous television documentaries such as CBC's and In the Wild with Julia Roberts.
Today, the situation facing wild orangutans is far more complicated than when Dr. Galdikas first began her studies. As a result of poaching and habitat destruction, viable orangutan populations are on the edge of extinction and could be gone within the next 20 years outside of national parks and reserves. Understanding is the first step to action. As president of OFI, Dr. Birute Mary Galdikas has studied orangutans longer than any other person in human history and has worked ceaselessly to save orangutans and forests, and to bring orangutans to the attention of the world.